Hi, I'm Jack Bishop, and my current paintings are inspired by driving around with my wife and my dog in my car. So last year, my wife and I we got married. We've been together for about 16 years, and from doing that, it kind of inspired me to question what I want to paint and almost to pay homage to our relationship. And it kind of made me pivot and making some different work. Other work that I've made has been very consumer related and a lot to do with like branding and consumption and consumerism being like the main theme. And for this series, I've kind of gotten away from that and started working on something a bit more personal, trying to just tackle it from a different way. I mean, I've been making paintings of highways for a long time, but these ones seem almost more like they're a portrait than a landscape. It's like more of like myself in it. I love fluorescent yellow, and I just kind of went off with it, you know, trying to make as big of a yellow painting, a large sky painting. It was the middle of the summer when I was working on it, and I was thinking of some Modest Mouse lyrics talking about the smell of summer and how it can just make you fall in love. The series I've been working on is called Road Trip Playlist, and it's almost like each painting is a track and on a compilation album that you've been listening to, like a personal playlist while you're driving down the highway going for a trip. I've been using music and lyrics as a way of kind of putting myself in the work without it being completely a personal statement. It's a way of other people jumping in and having like something else to reference. There's a really great painting by Alex Colville, who's a famous Canadian painter, and he did a painting called Dog in a Car, which really inspired me. I made a painting based off of it, same title, Dog in a Car, last year, and then only naturally from that I started painting my wife and myself and the dog all together in the car. So that's kind of where it started. Like, I like landscape painting, but it's almost like putting yourself in the landscape, or like a figure in a landscape, or even the cars I always kind of thought of as the figures in the landscape, but it's kind of taking that idea and running with it a little bit more. So in this one, similar idea to this other painting, sort of a similar way that it's been put together. I think for this painting, I referenced an Arcade Fire song. It was The Suburbs, and just the suburbs I learned to drive. So I kind of like that idea of putting together the lyrics in a way that references driving, and also it's music and a bit of myself in it. You know, white can be such an intimidating color to work with. I prefer working on top of a color. So I've doing some pink ones here, as you can see, and that's kind of just some early stages of work. These are my favorite brushes. They're so thick, you can really control them. It's almost like a house painter brush, but you can get the angles to carve into them. I'm really into fluorescent colors and really bright palettes, and this kind of scope of things has given me room to experiment. So with these works, I've kind of been trying a lot of different things, thinking about paint in an almost more material way, and thinking about color and just the material of paint going thicker, adding elements like collage within the paint, a more physical material kind of a style, and the shapes and marks that you get out of it, really fun. It's kind of a little bit more wacky. It reminds me of like the old Looney Tunes backgrounds and those sort of cartoons back in the day, which I love, you know, sort of like stylized Art Nouveau sort of a thing. So it's almost like a way of taking my hand and taking it out of my painting. So it's like the two paintings in one. I'll take this one. So you can see kind of all the texture and everything that's in there. Light off. It's one of many fluorescent pink paintings that I've been making. I think it's just sort of like my favorite color. So I used to use it a lot in older paintings, and this year especially I've just been going off and using it as my entire palette. In that way it's almost like a self-portrait of me, because it's like my colors, you know, my palette. I used to talk about the drive between Halifax and St. John and how I knew every stretch of ditch between here and there, and you know, in the dark it doesn't really read that way, so you can kind of just like make it up almost. So it's sort of like an abstraction based off that, like driving in the dark and on a starry night and cutting through the woods with all the eerie shapes and the shadows. It's such a flat painting, but at the same time there's a lot of space and a lot of different mark making and paint that's in there to kind of, you know, change the way it reads. What do I want to paint? Why do I like the paintings that I do? What work speaks to me? How do you make a painting? Like, what colors do you like? Is it even about having a theme or working with light or representation, or even framing it under a series like I'm doing with the lyrics and music? What work I want to do, and how do I get there? How do I stay motivated to keep painting? What do I love about painting? What's important to me? This is actually a wedding anniversary present for my wife, Jamie. It's the two of us down on the South Shore at Frissers Beach. Hopeless romantic.